I'm Glenn McGuinness, and this is Outburst. This week, we celebrate Canada's 153rd birthday.
I think we do try to look out for one another to the best that we can.
Wherever you go, people respect us. We're one of the friendliest nations in the world, you know.
I love the respect that everybody has with each other.
Living in Canada, you have a lot more freedom than other places.
Canada has a lot of opportunity.
Maple leaf makes Canada special, I think.
One thing we can all agree on, this Canada Day will be like no other. The COVID-19 pandemic has profoundly affected the way we live our lives and the way we gather together. This year, many Canadians will be celebrating differently than in past years. So we set out to ask Canadians how they will be marking the occasion. Our question: how has the pandemic changed the way you celebrate Canada Day?
I think with close friends. I don't have family here, but I have very close friends. With regards to the social distancing measures, I think it'll be great to have 4 or 5 of my closest friends and then celebrate Canada with them.
Well, I doubt we're going to be going to large celebrations anywhere, so we'll probably have a walk around the seawall here and toast a glass of wine someplace on a patio and wish Canada a happy birthday.
Probably not at all, actually. I'll still go for a bike ride on Canada Day in my Canada jersey and still hang out with friends. But with older kids and living in the burbs, I don't really have that much need to be able to go and celebrate, say, in a large mass group gathering. It's usually with close friends as a small gathering.
I feel so proud and so grateful to be Canadian, and I will be celebrating proudly, definitely not in a crowd, and maybe wearing a mask, going for a bike ride on the seawall, or maybe having a physically distant picnic, and I feel really grateful to be Canadian.
I mean, I've been staying with my mom right now, my family. We'll probably do something small at home and just watch the celebrations or some kind of thing on television that's incorporating all these video conferencing and performers, and maybe, bang our pots at 7 o'clock. Something small.
Personally, I'm going to avoid any crowds as far as that goes. I'll celebrate in my own way.
We'll still celebrate Canada Day. We'll celebrate it with our family instead of maybe in a big crowd this year. So we'll still celebrate it. We're proud Canadians.
Yeah, good point. Usually we go to fireworks out in Lac du Bonnet or spend time with family. Yeah, it'll change things a little bit. I think people will probably be watching some sort of streaming live whatever. Yeah, we'll probably stay at home and just enjoy ourselves.
I'll be keeping my distance from everything. Just stay home and be safe. I think that if we start being silly, we're going to pay the cost.
There's been a lot of changes that are going to be taking place, not just with Canada Day, but pretty much every celebration. It certainly isn't going to be the same as it has been in the past. There's going to be a lot of, individual or family celebrations as opposed to large celebrations where everyone gets together, and it'll be extremely difficult to be social distancing under those circumstances. But it's not going to be the big celebration that we're used to.
I wasn't a very going to fireworks person, it wasn't something I engaged in. So it doesn't change anything for me, but I do have grown children who obviously are going to not indulge in what they did in previous years. So I feel badly about that. I'm hoping that they can find a way to just celebrate it in their own safe way.
We do. We've had neighbours in, but only 5, and we sit at opposite ends of the patio. We're lucky.
Yeah.
There are lots of people who live in apartments who must be going absolutely squirrely.
Well, see, for me, I normally celebrate Canada Day by working. So every summer I'd be working at Beaver Tails down on the waterfront, and it would always be the busiest day of the year. But I know since that everything's closed, I'm not going to have that day and that expectation of working. So the celebration, for me, I would probably be able to celebrate a little bit more by myself. But I don't think, I don't know if fireworks are going to be happening. I don't know if you can go out to a restaurant. I don't know what opportunities you're going to have to see other people, and I just think that's kind of sad.
One, less exuberant Canada Day in the overall scheme of things is probably not going to be too disastrous, and maybe in your backyard or your home.
Well, there won't be the parade. There won't be the crowds in the public gardens. Even in this area, they will not congregate. It'll probably be more at-home type celebrations with family and friends, small groups.
Well, typically when my kids were all young, we would have crowds of people over to the house because my house is near where the parade is. So probably this year there'll just be 3 or 4 of us on the deck, drinking cocktails, singing songs, that kind of thing. Not as many people for sure as we would normally have.
I don't know exactly how it's going to be, but I think for the most part people should practice some social distancing and stay home if they can, have a little barbecue in your back deck, which is what I'm going to be doing right now, actually.
I'm thinking it would be extremely difficult, but a show will be great because people need music, they need entertainment right now. It's for some people it's really tough.
It's easy to be proud when you tell people you are a Canadian. We're a nation whose multiculturalism, peaceful nature, and breathtaking scenery is admired around the world. So we set out to ask Canadians what it is about Canada that makes it so special. Our question: what sets Canada apart from any other nation on Earth?
I love the respect that everybody has with each other, and that beautiful parks, like you don't have parks like of nature as in here. I like the safety a lot, and we have a great government.
Well, I lived in the States for 5 years, so I have a great perspective on the 2 different countries there, and I believe being a melting pot into the States is more challenging than us where we're a mosaic. We all have the individual rights to be ourselves first, and the background that we have, I have Indigenous Cree in my bloodstream, so I'm very proud of that. And I think that should be recognized, that we are all individuals and we're all coming at it from different places, yet we all come together as one to unite, and that creates the freedom we deserve.
I think we're very close, very united compared to the other countries. You know, we care about the people. And seeing what goes all over the world, to me, we're number one.
Well, I think we have more freedom than a lot of people do. And my father fought in the First World War. He was from Sweden. And he said there isn't another country in the world like it. So, hey, that's good for me.
Canada is a united country. Yeah. No matter who we are or where we are, we all worry about each other. And that is absolutely wonderful.
I'm very proud to be a Canadian. I think we have a lot to offer. I think we do try to look out for one another to the best that we can. And I think we are kind. We just take care of each other, and that's very important. And I've traveled quite a bit through Canada, and I've traveled quite a bit throughout the world, and there's nothing like Canada.
Well, I think one of the coolest things about Canada is that you can do everything here. You can live on a houseboat. You can canoe into work every day. You can also come from the prairies and learn how to farm as a kid. And our winters are also amazing. You can toboggan or ski to work. So you can do a lot here.
Mixed culture.
Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, like I'm from India and I've kind of integrated. And the place where I work, there are people from East Europe, there are people from North Europe, US. I'm from India, and I'm talking Asian, so all the mix, we work together.
I think it's our spirit, I think it's our history, I think it's our missions that have been done abroad for peacekeeping. Things like that make me very proud.
The pride we have as Canadians. Wherever you go, people respect us. We're one of the friendliest nations in the world, What sets us apart is our camaraderie and our pride for the country, and how we respect our land and respect the people living on it.
I think the freedom, protection, and I think the universal healthcare system.
I think we're more compassionate.
I think Canada overall is a much more compassionate country, and we recognize that other people need help. We recognize that we help each other, and I find that a lot of Canadians are much more respectful of the request for the COVID in the way of wearing masks. I have my mask in my bag. Washing our hands, hand sanitizers. I see a lot of people are very courteous in distancing. So I think that we will ride this wave a lot better than a lot of places.
Well, I think it is a unique place. Unlike some other countries, we seem to have a lot of respect for our government, for one another. Seem to have the ability to cooperate for the most part.
The people here are so kind. They are friendly. They understand human rights and human beings. So it's great to be in Canada and live Canada.
Well, I think what sets us apart is that we have this kind of united feeling. Like, I know after the tragedy that happened in Nova Scotia with the shooting recently and all of the deaths that we've had at Northwood, I feel like people just really come together. Like, when I drive down the street, I see signs and memorials for everybody. And I just think we have a sense of community that most places don't have. Like, I think you walk downtown Halifax and you can smile at someone else and they'll smile back, and it's just, I don't know, I really like living in Canada. I've been to other places and I just don't see anything else like that,
Canada has a lot of opportunity in terms of being welcoming to new people. Probably around 98% of Canada are immigrants besides the Aboriginal people.
I will say, honestly, it's the best country in the world.
Why is that?
Safety and peaceful. I came from Somalia, so here and peace and good life.
Let's just say I don't buy in that Canada is, so different from everywhere else. We all have got similar issues. The responses may not be the same, and we may find that some of our responses here have been more fortunate than elsewhere. But, it's everywhere has its problems.
There is more unity in this country on what has happened during this time. So there's people are more together. As far as if I look at countries, some European countries, or like back home in India or US.
In what year did July 1st officially become known as Canada Day? 1867, 1945, 1982. 1867, 1945, 1982.
1867.
I'll say I gotta go with 1867.
1945.
1867.
I will say 1945 at random, but I have no idea.
1982.
It is 1982.
Wow, there you go.
Very good. In 1982, when Canada became formally independent from Britain, the July 1st national holiday was renamed to Canada Day in celebration. But the July holiday has a longer history than that. Back in 1868, then Governor General Stanley Monk called for a celebration of the anniversary of Confederation, July 1st, 1867. It took a few years and several unsuccessful attempts, but a bill finally passed Parliament in 1879 marking July 1st as Dominion Day and a national public holiday. The first federally sponsored Dominion Day celebrations were held on Parliament Hill in 1958 and included a speech from the Governor General, a trooping of the Guards, and a carillon concert. And in 1967, Queen Elizabeth II marked the centennial of Confederation in Ottawa with a massive birthday cake she cut on Parliament Hill. Compared to other countries around the world, Canada's response to COVID-19 has been good, but not ideal. As of July 1st, 2020, roughly 8,000 Canadians have died from coronavirus, and many have said from the very beginning that Canada did not act fast enough. The number of cases, of course, varies from province to province. The measures put in place by all levels of government, plus the efforts of everyday Canadians to keep themselves and others safe, have made a difference. So we took to the streets to ask Canadians how they think we did. Our question: how well has Canada fared during the pandemic?
I guess it really depends on where you are. I mean, I think we're doing amazingly well up here, but I have loved ones in the south that are mixed. You know, some people think it's a farce and other are living by the rules.
What do you think about that? How are we doing as a country here in Yellowknife during the pandemic?
I think the same thought is that there are different provinces and territories that are taking it very seriously, and then unfortunately there are other provinces that are not going by the rules, and they are definitely paying the price for that.
Well, I think pretty good. Like, I think they need to keep the restrictions up for sure. It's definitely good in the territories, like keeping the border closed and continuing to do that. I've heard they're going to do that until a vaccine comes out, so I think that's a good idea as well.
I will say then we are split. If I see Ontario and Quebec, it's a disaster. But for the rest of the country, I think we are doing pretty good.
I think they've done quite well. I'm quite pleased, and they're trying to protect. I believe the people are doing their best, but recently there have been some lapses, but hopefully it gets better.
I think quite well compared to our neighbor down south. I think we're doing the right things. Maybe slower than other countries, but in my view, we're doing okay.
Well, as my girlfriend said, I wouldn't want to make the decisions. So you don't know, right? Look at Sweden and you think they handled it right. And then I saw a big thing on Brazil and they downplayed it and they're having problems, right? So nobody has the answers. It's a terrible thing.
I believe some of the provinces did excellent. Manitoba did an excellent job in closing down right away as soon as we started developing COVID here. But overall, I think Canada did fairly well compared to the States and some other countries.
Canada compared to other countries, Canada is very big and wide compared to other countries that have more populations, but they're like sardines in a can. They're jam-packed with so many people compared to us. So comparing numbers, I would say we're doing very well. Compared to size, definitely very well.
In comparison, reasonably well. We're not the top in terms of COVID numbers. We've survived fairly well. I think it's highlighted a lot of weak areas like our personal care homes and places where we need to focus more federal involvement. So maybe some good will come of it.
Particularly from my point of view, Canada has done a lot for the peoples because looking at the reviews and strategies and that other countries are taking for the health of their peoples. Canada is doing a lot, a great, more better job that any other country can do for the people. Especially I'm grateful to God that I'm in this situation in Canada right now.
I think that we're doing as well as can be expected. I don't really understand why the testing is taking so long, but that's just because I don't understand. I'm not saying that it's anybody's fault.
Overall, Canada did well in the sense of first world, fairly well-off nation with like a dispersed population base that also had more advance notice than most other countries. I think it did okay.
While we do set out across the country to talk to Canadians, we still can't be everywhere. We talk to people on Zoom from different regions about what makes their part of the country unique.
We're from Canada's capital. I live in Ottawa, so I definitely think that it's unique just as it is. But I truly believe that people in Ottawa are listening really well to the guidelines we've been given in COVID. I mean, you look at other parts of the country and you just don't see that kind of stuff happening in Ottawa right now. So I'm definitely proud to be where I'm from.
In Rose Blanche specifically, we have a wonderful historic lighthouse. It's a heritage site and it's been rebuilt from ruins, and the locals did that through government projects, And it's a wonderful tourist site that most people come from all over the world. We've seen people from Australia, from New Zealand, South Africa, everywhere, and they stay.
We're quite blessed here in Smiths Falls. We have the canal system that takes us a waterway up to Ottawa, down to Kingston, down to the Great Lakes. We were once a train town that the trains came through regularly, and we still have passenger trains here.
Because when you hear of Canada, you think the Great White North, okay? Maybe it's not white in the summer, but when you come to the Yukon, it is vast, open space. It's wilderness, it's country, it's beautiful roads, it's northern lights in the winter, it's 24 hours of daylight in the summer. It is, it is boardwalks and rivers, and it's just everything you could possibly want, and it's all in one place. It's all right here. It's breathtaking.
We're on this tiny little lake with 22 people who share common space and common elements, and we have 250 acres of woods and a really beautiful spring-fed lake, so it's kind of like being in a little slice of paradise here. With a small population and amazing neighbors and far away neighbors, which also helps.
I think this area is special for its scenery, mostly for its people. I think Maritimers are generally good people, kind people, as are all Canadians, but I think that we have a lot going for us here in regards to the natural beauty, culture, heritage, all those kind of things.
And it's very unique in Shetty Camp. It's a bilingual little town, predominantly French. We're on the world famous Cabot Trail, which gets continuously voted like in the top 3 islands, most beautiful islands worldwide. And the town itself is, as I said, like a little French Acadian town. Very unique culture, very unique Acadian culture.
A fantastic place from a physical point of view. It's a wonderful environment. The people are very welcoming and understanding, and the opportunities are just limitless.
We can make fun of the weather, we can make fun of the fact that we are flatlands, but we do have the Saskatchewan Rough Riders here, and great community, great people, lots of stuff to do, huge community events in the summertime, and we just have a really good family base here. So I love it here. I will never change. I'm not from here originally. I'm actually from Ontario, and I have a family in the East Coast, but I love Regina, Saskatchewan, and I will never leave.
When was the beaver given official status as an emblem of Canada? 1955, 1975, 1990. 55, 75, or 90?
55.
55.
55. 1955.
I'm guessing that was wrong then. 1975.
1955.
90.
I wanted to say like 1862, but that wasn't one of the choices, so we'll have to go with 1955.
55, 75, or 90?
75.
It's 1975.
Woo! Way to go, honey.
Very good. The beaver became a national emblem of Canada on March 24th, 1975. Its long history of importance in the fur trade meant that it had been used as a symbol of commerce since the 1600s. The Hudson's Bay Company put 4 beavers on their coat of arms in 1678. The City of Montreal included it in their coat of arms in 1833. And the first Canadian postage stamp, released in 1851, also featured a beaver. All this infatuation for the beaver almost led to the animal being wiped out during the era of the fur trade. But as Europe moved away from fur hats to silk hats, the beaver population in Canada rebounded, and they can be found all across the country today. Okay, so what's a birthday celebration without good vibes and well wishes? We sent our cameras east and west with this question. What is your message to all Canadians?
On this Canada Day, just be kind to each other and try your best to, I know social distancing is tough and quarantine's been going on for so long, but regardless of everything happening, keeping the people you love safe is number one. So even if you do want to go out for a drink with your friends or you do want to go see other people, if you could try to stay 6 feet apart or try to just do your part to keep the curve flattened, then that's all we can ask for, really, and that's all you can try to do.
Recognize the day, appreciate the values of the country, and celebrate the day and enjoy friends, family, and community.
I'd say get out there and celebrate. We have a lot to celebrate. We're certainly ahead of the game, and yeah, wave that flag.
Well, I think we should celebrate the Canada Day, yeah, but also to be hopeful and optimistic about what's coming later. Huh? There will be a brighter day.
Well, coming from an American living in Canada for five or 6 years now, you know, I just want people to be responsible and make good choices so that we can all enjoy, you know, the future together like we really want to.
I'm just so grateful to hold a Canadian passport, and people who are born here, they should consider themselves really, really blessed. And if they haven't stepped out of the country to see what the rest of the world is like, I would tell them that, you know, it's amazing to be Canadian. I know so many people around the world who would do anything to hold a Canadian passport and to live here.
First of all, happy Canada Day to everyone. Thanks for welcoming international students. As international students, now we are permanent residents here, so thank you for that. And yeah, keep killing it.
Celebrate safe, trying to have fun, social distancing, keep it up until this thing's completely gone.
Being a medical professional myself, again, I go with the distancing, bring hand sanitizer, wear masks, and just overall preventing the spread of the infection. Thank you very much.
I guess happy Canada Day, and I hope everybody is proud to be Canadian during this time, and yeah, celebrate with your family if you can't be out in big crowds.
Reflect on how fortunate we are to be here, and continue to support your neighbors and whatever social institutions we have that make it such a great place.
The kindness is remember to take care of yourselves, but if at all, take care of somebody else. And think about Canada, not in how we've suffered, but how we thrive and how we will carry on a new normal. And once again, being mindful of our vulnerable populations, our Indigenous peoples, and stay strong and stay together.
Stay safe, enjoy, be optimistic about the future, work toward whatever we got to do to get through the rest of this, and look forward to what comes next.
Enjoy it as much as you can and be thankful that we live in a place that takes care of its people so much.
I would say the message would be is, you know, that I hope we can think about the ones we love and, you know, just kind of have an understanding and think about them and hope we can help them, you know, so that would be my message.
We'll you know, stay positive. We'll make it through. Stay united, help each other, and we're all in this together, like everybody says, and better days are yet to come.
Thanks for watching this Canada Day edition of Outburst. I'm Glenn McGuinness. If you have any comments or questions about this show or any other show, you can find us on social media. You can also find us on our website at www.cpac.ca. It's your turn to speak up, and we're listening.